Yeah. What's up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, where we give you the real behind business health, money, and self development, and introduce engaging concepts to help you perform better in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart,
E
E Double.
double, your boy back,
E
and we coming at y'all for
E
episode 88, and this one is titled "Defending Against Procrastination." I know
88, so you know
every
it's great.
single person on this earth battles with procrastination in some form or facet.
Absolutely.
Be sure to tune in because we got a good episode for y'all. And as always, be sure to follow us on all the social media platforms. And come podcast with us wherever you podcast, right? So Apple Music, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. So let's go and kick this thing off, Sid.
All the above. Let's get to it, man. So episode 88, we've been knocking them out,
Hey, yeah,
man,
that is
for a
that's
long
that's so
time.
crazy, man. We 12
Hey,
episodes away from 100. Like that's
even with procrastination, man, we've been hella consistent. You know what I'm saying? So getting
you
it
make you
done,
make
man.
you make
So
time
so
for what's important, right?
absolutely, that's what they say. You make time for what's important, and obviously, we've made certain that we prioritize. You know what I'm saying? The opposite of procrastination, but prioritize uh, getting out this content and making certain that keep it thorough will continue to be a
Keep it
success.
thorough.
You know
Keep
what
it
I'm talking
thorough.
about? So when it comes to defending against procrastination, right? So we all know that procrastination is the thief to time. You know what I'm saying? It robs us of every moment, and with it robbing us of every moment, it takes the power that we have to shape our own destiny, right? Because I believe we have the power to shape our destiny, but when we procrastinate, we prolong that process, right? And so it's of the utmost importance that we take an approach to every day to maximize and seize every moment, right? That you have a standard as it relates to how intentional you are with your time and how you utilize your time and how you prioritize your time, right? Because I believe that tomorrow's promise is built on the foundation of the decisive actions we take today. You know what I'm saying? In every moment that you have, what actions are you taking? What are the things that you're doing? What are you committing to in those moments where you know things have to get done and you're being intentional and disciplined and focused on how you're utilizing that time, right? Because that's one of the ways that you can defend against procrastination, right? And it's a hurdle that we all deal with, you know what I'm saying, at some point in time in our lives, but we just have to regain control of our time, right? And recognize the things that are holding us back. And I believe that when we get to that point where we can see the things that we kind of delay or try to put on the back burner or say, I'll do it later, or I got time, right? When we kind of recognize those things and see the amount of time that we've wasted, I think that can lead everybody into a better direction that's going to allow us to accomplish more and then just achieve the goals that we set and that we put forth. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with everything you just said, sir. Why wait any
Yeah,
longer,
yeah.
right?
Don't
The
wait.
importance of getting started, which we've been talking about that for many weeks, right? Just the importance of
Oh,
getting
yeah.
started. But so the procrastination fallout. So when you want to talk about, stifling your growth or keeping you in the same place, procrastination is the king of that, right? So procrastination delays our potential and puts our progress on pause, right? So personal development and growth requires action, right? So just like the point I just made, the power in getting started, you have to take the necessary steps and have the accountability necessary to push forward. So procrastination keeps you in your comfort zone and prevents us from reaching our full potential. So if you stand in the same place, it's almost impossible to grow, right, or to
Right.
challenge yourself or to learn new things if you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're just doing you know, what feels safe, I guess, right? Because that's what holds a lot of people back too. And a lot of people procrastinate because they fear failing, right? They fear the unknown, or they don't, or continue to make excuses for why they can't get started. And there can be many reasons for you know why they're making those excuses. Maybe they're scared. I don't know. There can be a multitude of reasons, but the reality is procrastination stifles your progress, right? And it keeps you in the same spot, and it's essentially the opposite of personal development, right? It's impossible to develop yourself personally if you're not doing new things. So, with that being said, empowering development through action. So by overcoming procrastination, we're able to capitalize on the self and self-development. You know, we become an ally to ourselves and we strengthen the mindset built on action. This allows us to recognize the importance of today's steps towards our journey, and that intentionality helps to remove the urge to defer action. So, you know, when you stop procrastinating, right? You know, that self and self-development, you know, you're taking accountability, and that self is kind of seen as like an ally, right? Like you become an ally to yourself, and you're able to help strengthen that mindset required to put that action in place. And when you continue to do that, you form the right habits where, you know, you understand the importance of taking action today, and, you know, the effect that has on your long-term goals and your long-term journey. So then that eliminates, you know, that urge to, you know, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. Like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, right? Because, you know, you see the benefit of today, essentially, right? So definitely
that's major.
Got to get over the hurdle. Got to get over the hurdle of procrastination if you want to grow. And then, you know, consistency is king, right? So the more you take those actions, the more you'll see, progress, and then, you can overcome procrastination, essentially, you know, and become that ally to yourself.
That's big, bro. And one thing that I feel really goes into everything that you just communicated is understanding how to defeat procrastination. Because I know you mentioned intentionality, and that's one of the ways that you can help yourself by defeating procrastination. And when I think about procrastination, I look at it as it's like an opponent. It's something that you have to face on a day-to-day basis. And if you've ever played a competitive sport, you know that when you're preparing to face someone, you know, you watch film. They have film that you watch, and you get a scouting report. Right. You're studying it, and with that scouting report, you're able to break down tendencies, and you begin to see strategies on how you can counter your competition. And I think with procrastination, you kind of can go about that in the same way, right? You can but you can look at procrastination and see it as an opponent and say, okay, I've experienced these things before. I know that I do this because of X, Y, and Z. And you start really like breaking it down, right? And understanding why you procrastinate and what are some of the things that you keep putting behind you, right? And so one thing that you start off with is just awareness. You know what I'm saying? And being aware is a very critical component to overcome procrastination, because with awareness, it allows you to understand why you procrastinate. What tasks do you tend to put off? And then also allows you to see the emotions that you feel when you procrastinate. And being aware of those things is highly impactful, because sometimes when you start to see that you're taking time to do something and you're not moving forward, it can make you feel away. I know I've in the past where it's been something that I know I'm supposed to be doing and I'm not doing it, I get to a point where I start to feel away. I start getting pissed off with myself, because it's like, man, I should have done this like a week ago. And then
you like start stressing yourself out unnecessarily, you know?
Absolutely. And you don't want to do that, right? And so you definitely want to just be aware. The next thing you want to do is just have some proactive approach, right? And so with a proactive approach, to task, it allows you to prioritize things and set deadlines and really stick to those things, because in order for you to move towards something, you have to know what you're moving towards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have things, I say, like, itemized, right? And with an itemized list of goals and expectations and things you have to get done, you can prioritize those things and start setting deadlines on when you want to get those things completed, and do your best to really commit to whatever it is that you say that needs to get done, right? Because that goes back into awareness, that also goes into self-accountability.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
that's
The
really
most,
your map, right? And then those items are the directions on how to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you putting your map together.
you gotta put your map together. You gotta know which direction that you're moving in order for you to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get on the road and start driving somewhere and don't have a map or a destination on how to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
Oh, no,
Hey, I'm going to drive
and the strength of that analogy, right, is when you're going somewhere you've never been before. Because when you're
Yeah,
going somewhere you've been
bro.
before, you don't
Yeah,
necessarily need. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
man, that's a crazy.
So if you going somewhere you never been before, you're gonna need a
Yeah.
map. You're gonna need a guide and something to
Yeah.
take you there. You ain't finna just hop in the car and be like, yeah, I'm finna go out here to Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, how you get there, man? I have no idea. Well, bro, you gotta have a map. So you gotta put something in place in order to move into a direction that's unfamiliar, but that you're eager to get to. Like, you want to get there. You want to have those moments where you feel accomplished and complete. So put a map together. Put something together that's going to inspire you and influence you to get towards that. And that just goes into the last thing. That's a mindset transformation, right? And so overcoming procrastination involves shifting our mindset from fear and avoidance to courage and forward movement, right? You have to, and I can't remember how you worded it in your in the last thing you said was about intentionality keeps you from deferring to
Yeah. So
put
intentionality helps
tasks
you to
back.
remove the urge to defer, right? So the more intentional you are and you understand the consequences of taking action now, you know it'll help you push off that urge to delay. You know what I mean? You be like, no, man,
Yeah,
I gotta do this right now, because if
you
I
got to do
don't,
it
you know
now.
what I mean, I'm gonna have to deal with this and this and that. Like, let me just do this right now, get it out the way. You know, so
Don't delay. Stop waiting. Get to it. And that, man, and the mindset is the gear to everything, bro. If you change the way that you think about something and your perspective on how you interpret it and how you look at it, and not look at it as just a task that you're just dreading doing, man, things start to change up for you. And then you be more eager and willing to do certain things that enable you to get to a certain point in your life.
hey, you said it. And and when you form those habits that you're talking about, right? They pay compounded interest, like if you invest money,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
now the opposite is true, right? Like, because procrastination is also pricey. You feel me? So,
Yeah.
you know, procrastination is like borrowing trouble from the future. Imagine you have a big project due next week, right? And instead of you doing it right now or getting started right now, you decide to put it off into the last minute, right?
I think we've all done that
Right, we
before.
were just talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, pushing
Yeah.
it off, right? So when you do that, you take on that unnecessary stress we were just talking about, and that anxiety, right? You know what I mean? That just sounded weird when I said it, anxiety. That you could have avoided if you just started earlier. So, like, that's that
Yeah.
unnecessary stress, right? Where if you knew you had 3 months to do something, you know, a productive person is gonna say, okay, cool, let me get started now. I can do a little bit each day over the next, you know,
Yeah.
however many weeks, and then I'll be done, and it'll feel like I ain't even really did nothing. Whereas
Yeah.
a person who procrastinates is gonna be like, oh damn, okay, I got 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, or 3 months. I can't remember what I said, either weeks or months.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, 3 months.
yeah,
Yeah.
3 months. So you know what I mean? They're gonna procrastinate to the very last minute, and then they're gonna do it, right? And at that point, the work may not even be of the same quality that they're capable of, because they had to
Right.
to,
Yeah.
to rush to
rush
get
it.
it done,
Yeah.
right? So it's important to, you know, just get started, you know, and just like I said, the same way that, you know, doing the right things is similar to investing money, and you know, you seeing that compounded interest. The you know, the accumulative cost of delay is the opposite effect, right? So, the same way it's more expensive to be broke, it's also more pricey to procrastinate, right? So you end up paying a higher price in the form of mental strain and potentially lower quality of work, which is what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So just get started, man. And I've said this a million times, even before we, did this episode. Just get started. Like whatever it is, if you already know you have to do it and there's a timeline assigned to it, there's no reason why you shouldn't be taking steps to accomplish it. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you got 3 months, why not get it done in 2 months? Because then I guarantee you in them next 3 months, some additional things are going to come up that you need to do. So it allows you to just be more productive, which goes back to self-development, the personal development, the, putting your map together to get you and explore new places you've never been before, right? Like, all of that goes hand in hand. So procrastination is pricey. It's really as simple as that. And there's a accumulated effect of delay where, and we talked about this before too. A lot of people think that if they, don't get started, they stay here.
Yeah.
And that's not the reality.
That don't happen like
because
that.
everybody else that's doing something, you're moving further.
That trajectory is different.
And further down, right?
Yeah.
So you got to get started. You have to. It's non-negotiable.
You got to make those moves. And you got to do the things that are effective. And also, in addition to that, I think one of the biggest things that I took away from what you were just saying is time management.
Yeah.
And people struggle so much with time management. How can you manage your time? Not even just time management. How effective can you be with putting a routine together? Because I've heard many people that are successful and I've read about people and things like that. A lot of people have a routine. They have a routine on how they go about their day and what tasks need to be completed within that day.
And I think it's important to understand why people have routines. You feel me? Like people have routines because it's a way of having accountability and making sure
Absolutely.
You're checking off all of the boxes, right? And then it just becomes a routine. Like, people don't have these routines just cause, you know what I mean? Like, no, they do those things to be more efficient and effective. Because if you just out here living and just doing whatever and, there's no structure or organization, no way for you to keep track, it's nearly impossible to keep track of everything that we got going on and
everything. Yeah.
Everything in life. Like, it becomes.
You got to have structure. Yeah. And that's the big word. You got to have some structure. You got to have some structure to your life. You got to have some structure to your day, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You got to have structure. And me personally, I look at my days and what I have to do. I do like a personal itinerary, right? And in other episodes that we've had in the past, I've said this, and I'm a little bit outrageous. Maybe I'm not outrageous with how I do my schedule, but I've got my day planned out for me from when I go to sleep to when I wake up. You know what I'm saying? I account for those hours when I'm asleep, and then when it's time for me to get up, whatever I need to be doing, whatever objectives I have, I got it all mapped out. The time that I need to spend on it, what I need to get completed within that time frame, and then I go through the rest of the day, right? You can ask me, hey, Sid, what are you doing around this time? Okay, yeah, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Now, obviously, I leave room for flexibility and life be lifing. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. So you adjust as you go, but you have to have some sort of, again, intentionality. You have to be intentional with how you approach your day and what you're doing to prevent from procrastinating, right? And some tactics that you can utilize to overcome procrastination, and it's 5 of them, and I found these to be very interesting because some of these things I kind of do to a degree, but this can be insightful for a lot of people who are struggling with procrastination, and it can be beneficial for you, right? And so one thing that you can do is a blocking technique, and with that blocking technique, what you're going to do is just break down your work into blocks, and usually you can do it with 25 minutes. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to work for 20 minutes, you're going to take a break for 5 minutes, and then you're going to go into the next task and do it for 20 minutes. And I feel like if you can do that consistently, that'll definitely increase your productivity and it'll help you maintain focus, because what you're doing is taking a bigger task and you're breaking it down into smaller parts to help you be more effective and more efficient to get those things done, right? The next thing that you can do is do it in 3, right? And so aim to complete at least 3 significant tasks daily. This method helps cultivate a sense of accomplishment and reduces from being overwhelmed, right? And so if you have a lot of tasks that you have to do, 1, you want to prioritize those things. And then 2, if you can break them down into 3 individual parts, try to complete those things within your day. Complete those things. Once you see progress and completion, now that gives you a sense of accomplishment and you can move on towards the next thing. And so again, it's just breaking things down, taking something that seems so big and putting it into smaller time frames, or, smaller pieces on how you can kind of gradually get those things done. The next thing is just going to be accountability. And we said this already within this episode, right? And so whether it's a mentor or a peer or just having someone that you respect hold you accountable and help steer you in the right way to prevent you from procrastination, that's going to be big. We all need accountability partners, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your friend, whether it's your coach, whether it's your deacon of your church, whether it's your pastor, whether it's the leader of your badminton team,
get you excited,
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is that you can communicate with that's going to hold you accountable for the things that you said that you're going to do, you need to connect with those people. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to working out, I know E been on it. You know what I'm saying? I know. I think. Hey, I've been on it.
I'm real close.
Your boy, I ain't gonna. Transparent moment, man. I've slacked majorly, which isn't like me. I've had a lot of personal things going in life, and my time and my motivation has just been a little off. But I know that Eric works out often. You know what I'm saying? Daily or whatever. So in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, man, I got to get it together, which I have. My week is kicked off.
My little pictures of my weight too, so that's extra.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll be a little jealous sometimes, but it's all good. Hey,
I'm trying to get below 200 pounds, so
hey, it's still a solid competition. But I feel like I
hot because I'm about to be sending it to
I
him
feel like I still can get to 200 before you do.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna lie to you.
know.
I think I can
Where
get
you
there
at
before
right
you
now?
do. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? we ain't gonna go into details on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a little on the higher side.
I don't know,
like,
bro. I'm at like I'm at like I want to say 209, maybe like 208 right now.
Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm about 5 pounds over what you're talking about.
Well, that ain't,
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
everybody,
we dropped that pretty quick, but
listeners, you got to keep in mind, you know what I'm saying? I played linebacker in college. You know what I'm saying? I've always carried a little bit more weight. You know what I'm saying? It held a little bit differently in the past, but your boy's still in shape.
Oh, no. We both still in shape.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. But accountability, man. Accountability is big. Holding yourself accountable and having other people hold you accountable, that's big as well too. A reward system, right? And so celebrating your progress. Set up a reward system that allows you to treat yourself to something nice after completing a task. You know what I'm saying? That's always a big thing too. If you go back to when you were a little kid, you always got excited when you got rewards. You know what I'm saying? When you did something good, when you did something that the teacher liked, whether it was good behavior, whatever the case may be. I know for me growing up,
or something, or
you know what I'm saying? Give me a little piece of candy or whatever. But you want to have a reward system. You got something done, you feel good about it, reward yourself, right? And then the last thing is just going to be mental reframing, right? So shift your mindset from dreading to start a task or a large task. And then just like I said, break those things down, right? And so when you change the way that you look at tasks and things that have to be completed, and you have a sense of not necessarily eagerness, but a will to get it done and a want to get it done, it makes those things a lot easier, right? And so mental reframing can be something else that you can utilize to benefit you to stop procrastinating.
Hey man, tangible moments, right? Something that you can take away and implement, which we love to do that, make it tangible. So in summary, right? Reclaim your time. Don't delay your growth. It's really as simple as that. So procrastination can be a severe roadblock on your journey towards personal growth. It's the opposite of self-development, which we mentioned that earlier. by learning to overcome procrastination, we allow ourselves to experience personal evolution, right? So you got to overcome procrastination to really be the best version of yourself, because it'll allow you to, go to those unfamiliar places and challenge yourself and push yourself, to places, procrastination just won't allow you to go, or procrastination won't allow you to go. We have to stop with the I'll do it later and start embracing it now, right? And it's a simple question to ask yourself whenever you feel the need to procrastinate, or you say I'll do it later. Very, very simple question, right? Why put off until tomorrow what I can do today?
What you can do today.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really as simple as
what's
that.
the reason?
Like, exactly. Like, what is the reason? Why put off until tomorrow what I could do today? Because and then ask yourself if you're going to delay again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, come up with another excuse, because that's all you're doing is coming.
And when you do that, give yourself a 5. I like to give myself a 5-second rule. If I ask myself a question, if I can't answer it in 5 seconds, then likely it's like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't have a reason for it.
And,
Right, exactly. And you want to prevent yourself from doing that, because people going to talk themselves into, you know what, when I think about it, maybe I should. You know what I'm saying? So,
depending on the situation, you either talking yourself in or out of something. You know what I mean?
Right,
sometimes,
it is.
Either or could be good or bad,
Yeah.
But just ask yourself, why put off until tomorrow what I could do today? Right? Like, it's as simple as that, man. Because that's what time management is all about. And I feel that the ones who complain the most about not having enough times are the ones that are,
not managing
their time properly. Exactly. Because the ones who are managing their time properly understand the importance of their time, and they're very stingy with their time, right? Because they don't want it wasted, And then some people see that as, rude or, arrogant or whatever the case. Like when somebody, I ain't got time.
Selfish.
Yeah, right. Or selfish, right? And it's like, nah, man, I don't got time. Like, for real,
That's
you
dope.
don't got time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, make this worth something. You know what I mean? This needs to amount to something. Like, you know what I mean? Where is this going?
And that takes time,
right? It definitely takes time.
It takes time to figure that out.
Which goes back to a point you made earlier about mindset, right? You really have to understand we all got the same 24 hours. Now, we didn't all start from the same place. We all know that. We all can acknowledge that. But we all got the same 24 hours, right? So where you going to get to is dependent upon you and how you manage them 24 hours, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, hey, it is in your hands, my man or woman.
Yeah, woman.
But you got anything you want to add to that, Sid?
No, sir. I'm good, man. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Hey, the nail on the head. But hey, as you just said earlier, man, episode 88, we've been knocking them out. 12 more and we at 100, man. That's why we going. I think we said this before and never ended up doing it, but we really gonna do a giveaway at episode 100. Like I'm dead serious. We got to. It's only right, because we definitely got a decent amount of subscribers and listeners now, and people who be tuning in. So we doing some sort of giveaway at episode 100, man, to celebrate, because that's a big deal.
Man.
We came a long way.
100 episodes of consistency.
Anybody who's tuning in and listening to this episode, and maybe this your first episode or your second, or you ain't really been around that long, and you fresh to this, man. Go back and look at the very first episode, man. And the very first episode was called Building Momentum, right? Where we talked about the importance of basically ending your year right to get started for the next year, and how to build on that. Right. And really that was kind of talking about procrastination, right? Like, don't wait until the new year to get started on, your goals, man. But I urge y'all to go back and really, just check out a couple, right? The quality ain't that good. It's probably a little harder to watch, to listen to, but there's some gems in there for sure, some jewels, man.
And I will say, Eric and I intentionally have left our old content and videos and kits up just so people can understand, man. Again, get started, right? You don't have to have all the answers and everything figured out, right? Just have an idea. If you have a partner, whatever the case may be, get collectively come to an agreement to say, hey, we're going to focus on this, and we're gonna see where things go. I know E and our thing was consistency, man. Let's just see if we can be consistent with both of our lives and all the things that we have going on a day-to-day basis. Let's just see if we can be consistent with what we're doing and see where things go. And lo and behold, we've been consistent,
very.
And we've made some significant progress along the way, man. So stop procrastinating, stop waiting, stop putting off what you can do today. You know what I'm saying? Until tomorrow. I don't want to mess up
I
the
messed
quote.
it up. I feel like I messed it up every
You know
time
what
I
I'm
said it, to be real with you.
Why put off tomorrow
until
what you can
tomorrow,
do,
what you can do
to
right
today?
now,
There
you
we
know
go.
what I mean?
But man, just get started. Just get started, man. That's the most thorough.
Hey man, but we'll
thorough
appreciate
thing that
y'all,
you can do.
man. Shout out to Kid Nation. You feel me? And,
Yeah.
Y'all know how it go, man. If you don't do nothing else,
Hey, if you don't do nothing
keep
else,
it thorough.
keep it
And
thorough.
we'll holler at y'all next
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Deuces.